Tail up 23 years old is Glenn McVeigh. Oh, these boys are biting at the bit to get after this. Talking to each other already. Chance of don't be scared, homie, to be heard ringing out. McVeigh biting at the bit to get started.
Oh, I cannot wait.
1-2 by Glenn McVeigh. White stance almost anticipating the takedown. Nice work to catch the kick by McVeigh. Both men look very calm.
Oh,
big hands!
Hard strikes are from Mokhaev.
Overhand there again. Good block from Glenn McVeigh. Glenn McVeigh on the leg, gets caught with a stinging shot by Mokhaev.
It looked for a moment like it was a little bit stunned there, but he's regained his composure. He's done a nice job of catching the kicks, though.
That's a big kick to the body from Mokhaev, but as you alluded to, caught the kicks well, did McVeigh. There is a palpable tension in the air right now.
Feel it, yeah. Never good combination there from Mokhaev, but McVeigh egging him on, saying, let's go.
McVeigh nice and calm again, taking a huge opportunity, taking a huge risk. Glenn McVeigh attempts to take down. Mokhaev shows him the knee as if to say, next time you try that, it's there for you.
And like I said, Mokhaev, I mean, despite his wrestling credentials, he does have some very good, varied, and exotic striking. I've seen him go for, spinning back kicks, spinning back fists, and like I mentioned before, even jumping off a cage.
Mokhaev looks calm, catches McVeigh with a short shot. Big overhand by Glenn McVeigh.
It just feels like there's bad intentions behind every single strike thrown here. But McVeigh taking it well. In general, he does have pretty good defensive wrestling, and so far he hasn't really needed to use it.
That's a big inside leg kick, then a big outside leg kick from Mokhaev. But McVeigh looks loose in there. Looks like he's unfazed by the situation, calling Mokhaev on.
Continuing to talk to each other. The bad blood is real.
Mokhaev leading the dance a little bit here, taking the center of the cage.
And credit to McVeigh for stepping in here on short notice and taking a fight against a gentleman that not a lot of people are lining up to fight.
Oh, a big shot to the body, but McVeigh does well to get his back away from the cage and take the center. McVeigh trying to throw a couple of feints to try and get a bite from Mokhaev.
Those kicks from Mokhaev are just vicious. He's throwing everything he has into them.
Again to the body.
Strong kick right to the body.
Mokhaev really punishing the body of Glenn McVeigh here.
McVeigh's hands are low. We saw a little bit. Oh, another kick there landed. I think those kicks to the body are definitely giving him trouble.
Works, gets that whizzer, powers down. Still talking to each other. That's a big elbow from Mokhaev from the top. McVeigh calling him on.
I'll tell you, for as much bad blood as there is here, I sure hope they can bury the hatchet afterwards.
McVeigh trying to get guard, does well. Wrapping up the arms of Mokhaev.
And you can't sleep on McVeigh's grappling, and he does have 4 submission wins. I saw him choke Ryan Murphy completely unconscious.
Definitely a very, very solid, well-rounded fighter is Glenn McVeigh. 3-time Irish national MMA champion at amateur. So really does have that level of pedigree. And as you say, in an era at a time when nobody was putting their hand up to fight Muhammad Mokhaev, Glenn McVeigh was there to answer the call.
You can always count on the toughness of the Irish here in the cage. He's to continuing to talk to each other.
Glenn McVeigh active with the hips from the bottom, trying to get that guard a little bit higher, perhaps trying to set something up.
I mean, so far he's managed to nullify, or at least dampen, some of the ground and pound from Muhammad Mokhaev.
Trying to land elbows from the bottom to the top of the head of Mokhaev is McVeigh.
McVeigh's corner calling for elbows as well.
You can hear Dean Garnett in the corner of Muhammad Mokhaev asking for posture and strikes. Working the body, head is Mokhaev.
And I'm pretty sure that Mokayev's glove will need some adjusting in between rounds. Seems like the tape has gotten loose.
Needs to be wary of the up kick here. Plants down, transitions into the north-south position.
McVeigh scrambles, back up to his feet. I think one of those shots might have shaken him just a little bit.
Nice little shots being landed by Mokhaev, and what a round of action. You can see Mokhaev standing over McVeigh, taunting him.
The contention does not stop here. Obviously, very strong rounder for Mokhaev. He got in some very strong kicks, but McVeigh did a good job at catching. He just didn't necessarily really manage to put Mokhaev on his back for long enough.
Please, okay? Thank you.
See Mokhaev putting everything together, showing just why he's widely considered to be the best amateur in the world, transitioning to the pro ranks.
And that is high praise. I mean, just look at the level of MMA that we saw from the amateurs early on the undercard. And for him to be considered the pound-for-pound best amateur in the world, that is definitely impressive.
But now they've both had a feel of one another. They both know the lay of the land. I say it's time for Glenn McVeigh to take the fight to Mokhaev. They're still talking to each other. Still bad blood.
I don't expect them to stop.
All the way back. Gentlemen, let your hands do the words. You ready? Are you ready? All the way back.
Second round ready to go. Cage door just being closed. And have you ever known two debutant professional mixed martial artists to garner as much international acclaim, international attention as these two?
Absolutely not. A lot of people have been calling this a people's main event. And yeah, I mean, the lead up, the hype, the bad blood, the credentials that Mokhaev has, there's so much going for building this fight up to be as exciting as it definitely has been so far.
Glenn McVeigh trying to dig in for the underhook. Labour takedown there from Mokhaev, gets the job done, locking up the legs of McVeigh.
To mount. This is bad for McVeigh.
Well, that's a hallmark of competent Dagestani fighters, locking up the legs, transitions into the mount, trying to take the back for the neck. Just slowly taking his time. McVeigh needs to fight the hand that's at the top of the head. Go
So
baseball
looks
grab
like
on that.
it's a little bit high right now, I think. I don't think it's exactly. It's really under the chin. And Mokhaev's got to be careful not to burn himself out. But wait, is it under now?
Switches palm to palm on it at the minute. Seems like more of a neck crank.
Come on, Glenn.
That's serious pressure, serious squeeze by Mokhaev. He gives his corner the thumbs up to say he's fine. But again, gargantuan squeeze by Mokhaev. And he's flattened Glenn McVeigh out. There's potential here for big shots.
Watch your head, Mo.
McVeigh trying to lock up those arms.
Holding on to Mokhaev's arm, preventing a ground pound. But there he is loose, and this is just a world of hurt for McVeigh. Terrible position to be in, and with so much of a round still left.
But you have to give McVeigh credit for sticking into this point. That choke was close. Lesser people would have tapped just to get themselves out of those positions.
Yeah.
But McVeigh is as tough as they come. And yes, he is a brash trash talker, but he backs it up with performances.
Absolutely. So far, he's been doing a good job. He's smiling now. They're continuously talking to each other. I love it.
The corner of Glenn McVeigh, Matthew Elliott there calling for work. Mokhaev slowly trying to work like a python, getting a little bit tighter with that grip.
And there is no body triangle, so I wonder if perhaps McVeigh will try to spin around and land on top.
Just as you say that, he attempts it.
I mean, there is potential to get on top of McVeigh.
And he's not too far away. If he can just pivot and turn in towards, but again, Mokhaev doing well to maintain that back position. Switches the grip. McVeigh does the right thing by facing in towards. This looks like it could be
now
slowly
it's under the
creeping.
chin.
Again, McVeigh defends.
Nicely done from McVeigh.
Muhammad Mokhaev showing his positional dominance, but it looks like that choke could be slipping in.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Can't quite see from our position here at the broadcast table, but again, Glenn McVeigh showing some serious heart, will, and determination to stay in.
That is both skill and resilience right there. Because, I mean, let's face it, we've seen Mokhaev pound people out way easier and way earlier with previous opponents. McVeigh doing a very, very good job defensively here.
Mokhaev still talking to him. These guys will have nothing left to say to each other after the fight. They've said it all in the cage.
Well, maybe they'll be forced to say something nice to each other then.
Stay focused, Mo. Come on, focus. Minute and a half left, 90 seconds. Let's finish.
Mokayev's corner asking for focus, and I mean, obviously when there is a lot of bad blood, a lot of tension heading into a bout, you've got to be careful not to let that tension and let that emotion overtake the fight. You don't want to get sloppy in there.
You also have to remember that Mukhammad Mokhaev just turned 20 2 days ago, so he's still a very young man. Corner calling for a little bit more action. That's a big elbow from Mokhaev.
Oh, and another one for good measure. McVeigh definitely felt that one. He immediately started scrambling out. But he's doing a good job defensively. I mean, there's been about 2 attempts at submissions which have looked close, but McVeigh's gotten out of both, and he's managed to defend pretty much every ever.
Mokhaev shakes, Glenn McVeigh shakes his head to the taunts of Mokhaev, who very well could change his name to the backpack after this fight, the amount of time he spent on Glenn McVeigh's back.
Oh, and McVeigh gets, just momentarily, it looked like he was gonna get out, but
again, that's the world-class level wrestling of Mukhammad Mokhaev. He seems to give opponents just enough space to make those little movements to advance his own position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a big knee. Glenn McVeigh shakes his finger at it as if to say no.
10 seconds left.
It's another big knee. There you go, second round in the books.
Oh.
Mokhaev pushes Glenn McVeigh away.
I mean, I am all for some bad blood and some hype heading into a fight. I want to see that sportsmanship inside the cage.
No, it's a fine line. At the end of the day, all fighters respect one another by virtue of the fact they're stepping in there in the first place. But 2 rounds down, you've got to think Mokhaev, going by the criteria, going by his positional dominance, is 2 rounds up. All to do for Glenn McVeigh.
Absolutely, it's do or die now.
Mokhaev close a number of times with the rear naked choke. Glenn McVeigh showing his heart, his resilience, his character by fighting out of those positions.
Absolutely, Phil. You said it good. You said it best. There's a reason we call you guys with Fighting Irish.
Let's go.
And I like the variety that we've seen from Mokhaev as well. You had a lot of kicks to start off the first round. Second round was Wrestling City. Let's see what the third has in store for us.
Mokhaev looks loose, looks fit, looks in shape.
You ready, sir? You ready? Let's dance.
I feel like these guys are talking about as much as we are through a fight.
Glenn McVeigh's movement seems to be a little bit
slower, a little bit more labored.
But if you take into consideration, he only arrived here on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah. But still, it's been high security and high tension every time that these two have come close to each other here at the hotel. They almost had a bit of a dust-up when McVeigh first arrived.
Almost got into it at the ceremonial weigh-ins too.
That too, yeah. Basically every single time they've seen each other here.
Mukhammad Mokhaev taking the center of the cage and on a low ankle. McVeigh does well to defend. Good heavy sprawl from McVeigh.
Nicely done defensively there.
McVeigh showing that he has some wrestling chops too.
And that's a good moral victory for McVeigh to show that he can defend the takedown. Mokhaev's corner saying, let's stick to striking body head. Oh, that was a good left hand that landed.
Oh, that seemed to stun McVeigh ever so slightly.
He's having a little bit of issues with his left eye and gets taken down for his troubles.
Solid takedown from Mokhaev. Throws the hands to set up the takedown. Very smart for the 2-time former IMAF world champion. And now this is where a lot of people believe Mokhaev does his best work.
I'm inclined to agree.
Sitting inside the guard. You can hear Dean Garnett calling for the finish. We might see the pass here from Mokhaev. McVeigh does well just to sneak in that butterfly.
Come on, Mo. If you want to stay there, you got to work, Mo.
And referee Kevin Sataki asking for some work from top position. Still plenty of time to do so. 3 minutes left on the round. Looked like he momentarily went for the guillotine, abandoned it. Probably a wise decision.
McVeigh calling the shots that are going to hit him. You've got, look at them chatting away at each other.
It's like they're having their own simultaneous commentary of their fight.
Need to be wary of the submission threat, does Glenn
Yeah.
McVeigh. You're wrapped up, you don't know. That arm doesn't quite look deep enough for me from Mokhaev.
Once again, a bend. Oh, heavy elbow connects there from top from Muhammad Mokhaev.
2.5 minutes left in the third and final round.
Oh,
A
and
big
opened
cut.
him up.
Big cut between the eyes of Glenn McVeigh.
That's a terrible spot too. It's very easy for blood to leak into the eyes there, both eyes really, especially when you're grounded like this.
And the blood you can see just trickling. Can't quite see if it's impeding the vision yet, but that's a big cut.
Oh, I think it is.
McVeigh bloodied right now, but definitely not beaten. Still fighting. Muhammad Mokhaev perhaps trying to get in on a guillotine. Perhaps trying to get in on that.
Control his head. He's bleeding pretty badly about. Yes, wrestling, Glenn. Wrestling on him.
Nicely done. Nice. Wow.
Glenn McVeigh turns in.
Good job scrambling there.
Mo holding on right now, planning his next move.
Let's get our finish, Mo.
Last 90 seconds. Push
Mokhaev's corner calling for a finish. Let's see if he can get it.
McVeigh holding on. The corner of Glenn McVeigh asking for a little bit of posture and to land some strikes of his own.
Yeah, he has the potential to land some good ground and pound here against the cage. Elbow there, nicely done.
On the neck, Glenn, it's next one.
Glenn McVeigh tried to get in on the guillotine, but
Very
because
close.
they're slick with sweat, they're slick with blood, it was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just a terrible position for McVeigh. There was a little bit potential there where he basically was in top position, lost it though, and now Mokhaev is where he, as we said before, does a lot of his best work.
Head on the cage, hips in. Head on the
Momentarily, McVeigh had a foot on the hip, wrapping up with the overhook
Yes, let's go.
on that left side of Mokhaev. 30 seconds to go in the third and final round. Can Mokhaev put an exclamation point at the end of the fight?
Both of you, watch your words.
Okay, referee Kevin Sataki telling him to watch their words.
Go on, let's go. Last 20.
Big hammer fist from Mokhaev. Transitions into side control.
Grab it, come on.
Again, full credit to McVeigh, constantly trying to make something happen.
Absolutely.
Showing serious heart and determination.
Almost got back to his feet there momentarily, but yeah, this round is going to come to an end with Mokhaev on top.
Still a little bit of tension there.
Yeah.
Glenn McVeigh wipes away the blood. I'm going to go out on a limb, Seb, and say I don't think the beef has been squashed.
No, I don't think so. I guess they still do have quite a bit left to say, and not a whole lot of it good. But yeah, very good performance from Muhammad Mokhaev, mixing up his game very well. I liked a lot of the kicks that he was landing in the first round, and then after that, it was takedowns, ground and pound, submission attempts, just a flustering Glenn McVeigh, who, to his credit, did a good job in many situations defending, but just not really enough.
Yes, a very dominant performance from Mokhaev, but as you say, credit to Glenn McVeigh coming in.
3 days notice as well against the consensus best amateur on the planet. You got to give him some credit for that.
And if anything, I believe he's enhanced his reputation.
Absolutely. I mean, those who did not know Glenn McVeigh before certainly do now. He managed to stick it out with one of the best amateur fighters on the planet in his pro debut. Color me impressed from both fighters.
Come on, Mo. Yeah, come on, guys. Keep the respect. It's all done.
Blood, sweat, and tears, ladies and gentlemen. After 3 rounds of non-stop action, we consult the judges' scorecards. I can tell you it is a unanimous decision. He was undefeated as an amateur and undefeated as a pro, Muhammad Mokhaev!
And there we have it. We will see you soon.